You are watching Channeladriantv.
Yo, YouTube, what up? Welcome back to Channeladriantv, and y'all know me as Adrian. But before we get into today's video, y'all know what y'all need to do. Subscribe to this video, like and comment on the channel. Also follow me on Rumble where I post. And if you see anything you want me to react to, sports, the dynamics between men and women, or an Ask Adrian question about your own personal life, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can hit me up on one of my social media platforms or leave the question in the comments. Y'all, what's up? And we have a reaction video about a woman who discussed about a problem she's having in her marriage. And before I get into this, I always said in a lot of my videos, when it comes to this topic, I think men or women are going to deal with this problem when you're married or in a long-term relationship. In other words, when you're in a long relationship, I do think this problem is going to arise from one person in that relationship. So let me play this video. It's about a woman who is married, but she doesn't want to have sex with her husband. So let me play the video and give you my reactions to it, and then go over some comments and discuss how I talked about these things in a few of my videos and why I think all men and women should understand these things, so if they ever go through this in life, they can at least try to be as prepared as possible.
I have absolutely no interest in having sex with my husband at all. And I'm kind of at a point where I don't really know what to do about it, because I know while I may not need it, I know he needs it. And it's getting very challenging for me because I'm just kind of in this, please don't touch me. I don't want to be touched. And I want to have sex.
Of course.
But I don't.
Excellent. I imagine you're not telling a whole bunch of people that. Is that fair?
No, I think I've mentioned it to 2 girlfriends.
Okay.
One agreed with me and one was like, what are you talking about?
Okay. So number one, I want you to know you are absolutely not crazy. You're not alone. Okay. And not alone to the tune of millions. Okay. So you're not nuts.
Okay, now that's a video. Now, before I go over the comments, let me just give you my thoughts about it. Now, I understand some people may not want to have sex, but if I was him, I would be like, okay, if you don't want to have sex with me, but you want to stay in this relationship, you have to pick one. You either let me have sex with other people or you leave this relationship, because I do think sex is a big part of the relationship, especially for men in the marriage. Now, I'll be honest with you. I have done videos in the past on my Room 1031 channel and talked about how women, once they get married and have kids, you know, pretty much the settle down family life, a lot of men would often say they're not getting the sex they want because the women don't really want to have sex anymore. Which, in my personal opinion, that can arrive from a few things. Number one, she may not find you attractive enough anymore, or the relationship may have peaked to where she's not even happy, or she may feel insecure about her own self, her own image, to where she doesn't even feel sexy enough to have sex. And that's why I've always stressed to a lot of you out there, that's why I do think you should marry a woman or build a family with a woman, whatever relationship you want, with a woman who takes care of herself and works out and follow a diet. Because if she does do that, odds are she's still gonna feel sexy and keep herself up to where she would want to have sex. Now, keep in mind, before I go into the comments, like I said, men and women could both deal with this, because I've heard women tell me the same thing, but it was more on the lines that their husband got fat and they weren't no longer attracted to them. They were still happy in a relationship, but the attraction factor was no longer there. Now, one commenter said, the question should be, do you not want sex, or do you not want sex with your husband? Because there's a difference. And that's what I talked about, the attraction or sex appeal. This is why I've always said, man, you should stay in the gym so you can at least stay where she met you at. Don't let yourself go. Because I know a lot of people give me some pushback and criticism saying, Adrian, why are you always worried about working out? And I know being attractive and being sexually appealing is not the end all be all in relationships, especially for women when it's looking for a man. But what I do believe is, if you let yourself go and you become uglier than what she found you attracted to be, she can possibly leave you or lose attraction, which could lead to her not wanting to have sex with you. This is why I always stress, men, you need to be in the gym. Man, you need to watch what you eat. Especially if you're not going to be in the gym, you need to watch what you eat more. Another commenter said, I like how women say communication is key, but will tell everyone but their husband what the issue is. And this is what I said in that Room 1031 video about people telling their business about their relationship. I don't think you should do that. And I know some people are going to say, well, Adrian, men do it too. I know, but I'm talking for myself. I don't tell anybody what goes on in my relationship. And if I'm with a woman and I notice she's discussing things that are going on in our personal life, I will immediately cut her off, because at the end of the day, if we have a relationship and we're trying to build a strong foundation, we need to be able to talk to each other. Now, I know some of you may be saying, Adrian, I want to have that open communication, but maybe my man is too soft, your man may be too soft, or that communication isn't open. Well, then that's when I would say that's a you problem, because if you know that person's not willing to fully open up to you and communicate, to have that complete honesty and transparency, I think you should leave that person regardless if they're a man or a woman. And then, not to mention, by telling your homegirls that, obviously they may know him or hang around in the same setting, you potentially set up for your husband to get humiliated and embarrassed. And a lot of men that work with women and they see how they gossip about their husbands behind their back, it kind of opens up your eyes a little bit to that, or remove the veil. I already know some women are going to say, Adrian, men do that too. I agree with you, and they're stupid for that. For example, I would never tell my business about my girlfriend or wife to anybody I know, because odds are I'm not going to leave her. So why would I want to make her look stupid and embarrass her for everybody? That doesn't make any sense. Now, I do know men do that, but then again, women, that would be your fault for marrying or being in a relationship with a man that's stupid. Another commenter said, whether callers would bring this issue up in Love Line with Dr. Drew, I remember his first question was always, do you self-please, basically? The point being, if you do, it's an attraction/relationship issue. If you don't, it's a drive issue, which helps narrows down what approach to take next. And I agree with that. That's why I said, if they do, like, for example, I know a man who caught his wife looking at adult entertainment. So he was trying to have sex with her, but he wouldn't, but he caught her looking at those type of adult videos. So what that told me is, oh, automatically I knew she either is not attracted to you anymore, or the sex was never good and she doesn't just want to have sex with you. I know you may say, Adrian, that's harsh saying the sex is not good. I would say a majority of women are not pleased sexually in their relationship, but since that's the best guy that they could get, they just pretty much settle, for lack of a better term. And also, that commenter was right about the drive issue. That's why I would say, if I was in that situation, I'm like, okay, well, honestly, if I was in that situation, I would leave. I'm not begging for sex, but let's just say hypothetical, for that situation, that guy could be like, okay, if it's a drive issue, are you gonna let me have sex with other people, or is this relationship going to be done? What are we gonna do? Because he has needs. Like I've said, men have needs and women have needs. And I still think sex is a big need for men, especially in a marriage. Another commenter said, I was friends with a group of young mothers and 90% of them were going through the exact same thing. Interesting. See, and that kind of goes to my point about how if you're a man in the workplace and you work with women, or a lot of women, you hear these stories. From the stories that I've heard, it deals with this. A lot of them were never really attracted to that guy or husband that they do have now, but they had to settle because the guys they were more attracted to wouldn't give them a relationship. For example, I know a woman who was going through that because the guy she was dealing with prior was 6'7" and more attractive. So when she had to marry a 5'10" pudgy fat with titties, she was more attracted to how he treated her. She wasn't really attracted to how his sex appeal and sexual attraction. But the thing is, I think women should tell men and be honest, like, look, I love you more for how you treat me, not how you look. Because I think a lot of men who are in relationships or who are married, they think the woman finds them sexually appealing. It may be sexually appealing, but not to how men think. Like, men, you may think she views you way up here from a sexual appeal, but she may view you down here. On the flip side, since you can provide, she views you up here. So in other words, she likes that you can provide. That's what's attractive to her, not so much your sex appeal and how you look. And honestly, that's how women date when they want to settle down. Now, when they're younger or, in their fun phase, most women date the opposite. They could care less what you can protect or provide because they're not trying to settle down. They more look for, okay, how good do you look? How sexually appealing are you? So that's the video, and I agree with what the commenter said. And also, this goes over topics that I've covered in these videos. This is why I do this, because I want all men and women to know all these things are correlated with each other. This isn't just me grasping for straws. And then when I see videos like this and people are putting it publicly on social media, this gives credence to what I'm saying. These things do happen in people's lives, but now, since it's happening in public, it's no longer behind closed doors. And the reason I do this is because, number one, your parents should be teaching you this, and if they're not, you can be blindsided and may not know what to do. That's why I think these videos are important. So men and women, learn from these videos, and as I said, I think everybody will deal with this, but if you prepare yourself and learn about these things, you can vet people as best as you can, but some things can go left, or some things can happen to you like this. But this is why I said, especially for men, because this situation deals with a woman talking about a man, this is why you should never let yourself go. This is why you should always improve every year. And this is why you should always be working for something, because when you let yourself go, when you become broke, and once the relationship becomes stale, odds are a lot of times women will lose respect for you, lose attraction for you, and may not want to have sex with you. But men and women, let me know what you think about this video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.